So, you ever walk out in front of a crowd and think, this is not going to go well? I'm a wedding MC by trade, and a few weeks ago I was MCing at a wedding. And I walk out to open up the room, and before I played even one song, someone in the back stands up and yells, "You suck!" So I paused, looked out into the crowd, and with big glassy eyes I said, "Dad?" Instantly won him back. But now, that moment, that's not just comedy, that's survival. And I learned how to survive at a pretty young age. That dad I was looking for left when I was a kid, left mom with 2 younger brothers and me to fend for ourselves and all the financial fun that comes along with that. But I grew up in a family where we showed love by picking on each other. If busting chops was an Olympic sport, a member of my family would be on the cover of every Wheaties box in your pantry. So in order to survive, I had to develop a pretty sharp wit and quickly. Initially, I was rewarded for my sharp tongue. People would seek me out to do their parties just so I could roast them and their family members. And my entertainment business was born. But reading and recovering a room wasn't something that I was great at yet. It took a little practice. I remember being in front of a large group of people that I cared what they thought, and about 30 seconds in, I felt it, that shift. You know, and you could see it in the crowd, the crossed arms, the kind of avoiding my gaze, someone checking their phone, there's one woman squirming in her seat. She couldn't wait for me to stop talking. And I kept going. I pushed through. I had a plan and I stuck to it. I had my jokes and they were sharp. And I walked off of that stage kind of thinking, what just happened? Not what was going on in the room, but what was wrong with me? Just in that moment, every family member that I had that picked on me, every drunk party person, they all kind of came back all at once and said, "See, you do suck." So I'm running my entertainment company, and I got about a 50-50 booking ratio. The people that come in that enjoy what I do, they book no problem, and the other people just kind of fall to the wayside. And I'm thinking in my head, well, they obviously don't know a good thing when they see it, because it couldn't possibly be me, could it? And that's when I realized something. I wasn't missing those appointments because I was a bad communicator. I was missing them because I wasn't paying attention. I was doing my thing, the thing that kept me in business, the thing that kept clients coming back. So let me save you the next 20 years of your lives of staring at your ceiling at night, wondering why you're not achieving the success that you'd like to achieve. Because reading a room isn't mind reading. It's an awareness. It's 3 things. It's energy, it's engagement, and it's alignment. So the energy is your vibe, the effort that you bring to that party, the excitement. People think they're going to have fun, so they have fun. And they're having fun because you're having fun. You know, are they sitting and attending a TED Talk, or do they feel like they're trapped at one? And then the engagement, the responses that you get from people. If I asked you to clap your hands to a beat, would you? Would you wave your hands in the air like you just don't care? Because I care. It means a lot to me whether you do it or not. And last is the alignment, and that's the connection. Are you with me? Are we all doing the same thing in the same place at the same time? Now, you don't miss these certain things because you're bad at communicating. You miss them because you're focused on yourself, way too self-conscious. You're thinking, do they like me? I'm so smart. Am I funny? Was that a weird joke? Yeah, and if you have to ask, yeah, it probably was a weird joke. And what do? We double down. I tell another joke, a worse joke, and now we're digging. You ever dig yourself into a hole and start decorating? Because underneath all of this is something more personal. If I'm not connecting with you, if there's this space, I messed up. There's an error, and that's vulnerable. And while we're opening up and talking about being vulnerable, let me save you a little misfortune in your own lives. Don't be like me. Learn from other people. I am known as the king of trial and error. My very favorite way to learn things is called the hard way. And one of my favorite hard way experiences was working with a small off-premises caterer. We would do parties not necessarily in catering halls, but in people's backyards. And when he would come to me and go over the schedule for the day, when food was going to come out, when certain people would be eating dinner and dessert, I said something to the effect of, "You're lucky I'm here. I have the mic. We'll just do it my way." With no real regard for his staff, his food, his prep, the chefs, that the clients also did pay for. Fast forward about a decade, and his lackluster little company did go out of business. But he was smart, he was a hustler, and he didn't just vanish after his company went out, he went and got a job at the largest catering company where I live. And guess who doesn't recommend me at his dozen or so catering halls? That's about a $2 million a year hard way lesson that I encourage you to avoid. So now I treat the bathroom attendant just as nicely as I treat the catering hall owner. And here's the next part. We're practicing less and less with real people. We got buffers in between us all the time. There's screens, there's text, there's emails, where the tone and the way we try to come across kind of disappears. I run into this the most with talking to the opposite sex. I have a wife, I have a daughter, I have a mother, and any text I send them, they take as a personal affront on their very person. I have been called abrasive and other words that start with A, not necessarily amazing. And that gap between our intention and their reaction, that's where all that disconnection lies. So, how do we fix it? First things first, we get out of our head. You are not the main character in their story. They are. No one cares how nice your hair is, as long as theirs looks better. And then we want to evaluate the situations. Can I help? Do you need help? Should I just be cool? For instance, I'm at a party and the fire alarm goes off. My go-to tagline is usually, don't worry folks, it's all part of the show, or it's cool, they paid extra for this. And then I lean into a catering manager and I say, hey, is it just a grease fire or do we actually need to evacuate a burning building? And then you have to be able to adjust in real time and do it with care. Because the best communicators aren't the smartest, they're not the funniest, although those two attributes definitely help, but they're the most aware. And they're speaking as if they're speaking for your benefit. And it actually helps if you actually do care and you are speaking for their benefit, but do please make the impression proper. And then you gotta care enough to change. And you gotta change right then and right there in that moment. Not later, not in the car, not at 2 a.m. playing it over in your head. Here's where it gets wild. AI is also learning to read your patterns. It watches you through that little camera in your phone, sees what you look at and for how long, and then can make suggestions based on what you were looking at. But it can look at your eyes, but it can't make eye contact. It fake cares. Real caring is still on us. So in the future, if we're distracted, reacting to a little goofy meme on our phone, and it's disconnecting us from the human beings in the room next to us, which is completely against what these devices were created initially for. My phone is supposed to bridge the gap in time and space, not make it so I can stand 1 foot away from somebody and not even know they're there. And you've seen it. You've been walking down the street and someone's looking at their phone and they bonk right into someone next to them, or walk into a street sign. Makes for great videos on YouTube, but that's not the way we want to be. So the next time you're in a room and something doesn't feel quite right, don't push through, don't muscle it. Stop, take stock, look around you. Because the room is telling you everything you need to know. The question is, are you able to listen to it? Now in sales, they always tell you, use the ABCs, always be closing. I do disagree with that. I would say, always be connecting. Because if you're closing, it's about you. But if you're connecting, it's about them. And that connection is everything. Thank you.